Welcome to Expect the Expected, Prevent Stress with Preventive Savings. My name is Ahmad Davis. I'll be the host for this lesson, and I appreciate you taking the time to come in and dive in on how to take control of your finances and move ahead successfully with your financial goals. We just want to start off with a little story about something that happened to me a few years ago that kind of outlines what we're talking about today. I went to a Firestone to get some minor repairs done and just a little bit of maintenance on a vehicle that I owned. And after they completed the complete vehicle inspection, the guy came out with a diagram of my car's engine. So just to give you a little bit of a hint, when they come out with a diagram, it is not a good thing. So he showed me all the things that was going on and all the recommendations based upon the visuals, and then also showed me the work order. And the work order came out to about $2,000 worth of maintenance and minor repairs. He was very quick and very good to be able to offer me the Firestone credit card, 6 months same as cash. And because I don't borrow money, don't use credit cards, I quickly kind of said no thank you. But as a result, I still need to get some repairs done, and I still need to get the maintenance done. So I asked him basically to prioritize the repairs. Most were just future recommendations. He had a couple that were actually things I need to get done right now that I knew about, and a couple that need to be done in just the next month or so. But the vast majority were actually just general recommendations, normal mileage type recommendations for upcoming mileage event on the vehicle. So I called my wife, we talked it through, see what we wanted to do, and we did, of course, the stuff that need to be done now, the things that need to be done in the next month or so, and then we also jumped ahead to a few of the upcoming mileage recommendations as well. The whole point is that when we're going through life, preventive savings is like preventive maintenance for your car. It allows your life to just run smoother, longer. We take care of our car, we take care of our things, and our cars last longer. We put savings in the bank. We stack away some cash for the things that we can expect and some things that we cannot expect out of life. And then our life just runs smoother. Most of our financial headaches and crises come from not having cash in the bank, not as a result of having a credit score. Cash cures all. So today what we're going to do is talk about 3 must-have preventive savings that will make your financial life and your personal life much more effective and feel like just a little bit calmer. We're going to talk about what are they, how much to put in each. We're going to give you some success tips on how to make them really successful in your life, just to make sure they run smoothly for you. And they also got a couple of marital tips in there for our married folks that's chiming in on this lesson today. And we got a few more things we're going to talk about as well. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. The first one is your emergency fund. This is a foundational savings. It basically is your blanket, your warm covering blanket. There's a few success tips that I want to talk to you in general about any type of savings that you do, but it's going to specifically start with the emergency fund. The first, with any savings that you do, you want the savings account to be a dedicated savings account. What that means, don't have a general savings account. Don't have one lump sum savings account and you're saving 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 different things in there. Because what happened is, if you got a general savings account, it would get generally withdrawn. Yeah, tap it for anything and everything. And that is not effective. When you're saving for something specific. So as a result, you need to have a specific savings account. Online banking has made that tremendously easy these days. So there's really no reason. Before, we had to walk in, create the savings, and do it through transfers, going inside the bank and ATM. It was definitely a little bit more of a hassle. So we looked at it a different way. But these days with online banking, there's no reason not to have multiple savings account. It is really, really easy. The second thing is to name them. Once again, this is the benefit of having online savings. You can name the account. You can literally, if your account starts off with savings account 1, 2, 3, 4, you can go online, change the name of it to where it visually says emergency fund. That is hugely beneficial, because if you try to use that money, then what you'll do is you'll see that you are actually tapping your emergency fund, and that gives you a little bit of pause. The last thing is only use it for its intended purpose unless you intentionally need it for some other major reason. Now, that does happen every now and then, but 95% of the time you should be using that account for its intended purpose. So let's dive into the emergency fund just a little bit deeper now. We talked about setting it up, but let me give you some tips on how to make it really successful when you set it up. So one of the first things I do is I recommend that you get a money market mutual fund. Basically what this is a super inflated savings account. It has a few more benefits than a standard savings account. It makes more money than a savings account. So it's actually basically just a supercharged savings account with a little bit higher interest rate and a few more perks. But because of the perks is why I highly recommend it. Now, there's a couple of things I want to tell you about the money market mutual fund. Sometimes it's also called a money market savings account. So don't get it mixed up. If you see that online, you're trying to set this up. But a money market savings account is the same as a money market mutual fund. They're basically the same type of thing. One of the benefits, there's two really big benefits to setting up a money market mutual fund. One of them is check writing privileges. You actually get a checkbook associated with your savings account. The second one is most of the accounts these days come with debit cards. So you have actually pretty quick access to these accounts. So there's really no reason not to be able to get your money when you need it with these emergency funds. I do recommend a particular place that is ally.com. Now, the reason why I recommend ally.com is there's no deposit required. You do not have a minimum amount you need to have to set it up. You can set it up with $1. There's no minimum balance, which means that they're not going to charge you if you don't keep a certain balance. So if you actually use your emergency fund and you tap it down to zero, then it's still there. The account's still open. They're going to keep it open for you. And the last thing, there's no fees. There's no maintenance fees. There are no fees at all associated with this account. It is absolutely huge. So basically, you're getting a supercharged savings account with no deposit required, no minimum balance, no fees, with the check card and check writing privileges. That's just too smart. So one of the things I want you to do out the gate is I want you to go ahead and set up $1,000 in this starter emergency fund. This is not a fully funded emergency fund. This is just to get you started, to have something in the bank so that you can give yourself a little bit more of a warm protection feeling in your household. Now, the second step is actually to go ahead and start killing your debts and move forward with your financial plan of getting out of debt and getting control of your finances and bring more cash into your checking account and free up some money every month. So that's the second goal. But after you complete that, the third one is to go back and to actually put 3 to 6 months of expenses into your fully funded emergency fund. But let me give you a little bit of advice on how to make this functional and understand why the difference between the 3 to 6 months or more. 3 months is basically if you have stable work and pay. So if you got a stable job, you're not worried about losing your employment, stable income, you're not worried about your salary. 3 months is perfectly fine for you. You should be able to move forward pretty aggressive with that. 6 months is more if you have irregular income. So that's for self-employed people, hourly employed people, commissioned-based employed people. So people that basically cannot rely on the income every single month, or their income is not stable. Let me throw in a marital tip. Now, this one is huge, okay? This one is huge. Have a real discussion about what qualifies as an emergency with your spouse, and only use it for agreed upon emergencies. Let me repeat that. Have a real discussion about what qualifies as an emergency and only use it for agreed upon emergencies. I always get super amazed by the people who assume what their spouses are thinking. You might have a different opinion of what qualifies as an emergency. Get on the same page with it. That way you minimize surprises associated with this account. All right. So the second fund is car maintenance fund. This is a big boy. This is what I use to actually take care of my car repairs at Firestone or wherever I do my car repairs. But during the story, I use Firestone. Let me tell you a few success tips associated with that account. All right. Success tip number 1. connected to your checking account. So have a connected savings account. When you need it, you need to be able to transfer it quickly. This one needs to be at your bank and connected to your account so you can have easy transfers. Now, here's a big rock. How much do you need in this account? $50 a month while you're getting out of debt. Just keep it real simple. And when you get out of debt, then you increase it a little bit more to give yourself a little bit more financial security. But that $50 a month will basically cover most of your maintenance. That's including oil changes and wiper changes and fluid changes and things of that nature. And it'll hit most of your 30, 60, 90,000 mile maintenance things. It will not cover most repairs. That's why you started off with the emergency fund. But while you're getting out of debt, what this allow you to do is allow your car to run smoother longer, so you minimize repairs. Once you get out of debt, you want to jump that number up to $100 a month. Now, this allows you to cover more maintenance, more repairs, and start giving you a bigger buffer for when you actually need maintenance and repairs on your car. And what this does is really put another layer to where you minimize how many actual emergencies you have in your life. The big rock here is to understand and know that car repairs are the number one emergency in most households. So this account basically will minimize to eliminate most people's financial emergencies. Now, I do not want you to start this process until the end, about 3 months later. But after 3 months, I want you to start auto transferring from your checking account to your savings account to fund this car maintenance fund. So 3 months after you started this fund and you've been able to handle it for 3 months in your budget, you start auto transferring this money over. So at that $50 a month, you start transferring over after 3 months. And that way, just to give yourself a little bit of time and a little bit of buffer to make sure that you can handle it and your finances don't go on the wire by adding in this particular savings into your life. The last topic we want to talk about today is non-monthly bills fund. This one is absolutely huge. Basically, what we're doing is we're planning for the bills that come around quarterly, semi-annually, annually, biannually, or any other type of frequency, but not monthly. So a lot of these could be good examples would be maybe HOA, a homeowners associations, like a common example, vehicle registration for your cars, life insurance policies, things of that nature. So things that are not necessarily monthly bills, but they're semi-annual, quarterly, annual, and some other type of frequency. So what this allows you to do is to save for those type of bills. And when those bills come, they are not a surprise. They do not create emergencies in your household. So one of the keys here is to connect it to your checking account. Okay, so it's another connected savings account. The big reason here, so you can auto transfer into the account every single month. One of the last things to note about this is that you're going to put in multiple bills. So this one will intentionally have multiple bills going into there. That way you're not creating 40 different savings accounts for these type of bills. So you put these type of bills all up under one roof, and let me show you how to take care of that. Okay. One of the first things you want to do is keep track of these bills separately, maybe another spreadsheet or something like that. And in that form, you're going to basically fill out the name of the savings or the name of the bill, the amount of the bill, the amount you're saving monthly for that bill, and what date is due. Those are basically your 4 key ingredients, so that when it's time to pay that bill, you know exactly how much to pay, when it's due, and also where it's supposed to go. Now, let's supercharge this one. Now, this one is going to be a little bit tricky to get, but let's go ahead and supercharge this. I'm going to walk you through this using HOA as an example. So basically, let's say you have an HOA that's due March 25th, 2016, and it's $240 a year. So that $240, what you would do is take that $240, divide it by 12, and that would give you $20 a month. So where did the 12 come from? In a year, that's 12 months. So $240 a year rolls into $20 a month. So we take that $20 a month And then we save it into this non-monthly bills fund. And when the bill is due, now we take action on it. So let me walk through how you would supercharge this process. So you would transfer the $240 from non-monthly bill savings to your checking account. Then in your checking account, you have a bill pay for the HOA of $240. And your checking account, your bank will write a check to the HOA and it's paid early. Three basic types of savings, preventive savings. The first one is the emergency fund. I am recommending that you put $1,000 in a dedicated account at another bank. Ally.com is what I'm recommending. Use that as your emergency fund and a money market mutual fund. And then if you have that already, hopefully you're killing your debts, getting out of debt. Then thirdly, attacking and building that 3 to 6 months of emergency funds to get yourself a fully funded emergency fund. The second one is car maintenance fund. This one is huge. Car repairs are the number one emergency in households. So this one will help buffer repairs. The first stage is to get your maintenance taken care of so you minimize how many repairs actually jump at you. The second stage will actually help you buffer the actual repairs. The third account, non-monthly savings, non-monthly bill savings. Now this one is actually huge because what it does is those bills that come around non-monthly, the quarterly, the semi-annual, and the annual bills, you have the cash ready for them. You take it to the next level. You go ahead and have that bill paid for early and on time. And now you have jumped ahead. Those bills are no longer a surprise. You have the cash ready and you are moving forward. These three basic types of savings will dramatically simplify your budgeting process and your stress in your life. So I highly recommend you jump right to them. So what's the next? What's the next step? Well, of course, I want you to like this if you thought it was helpful. Leave a comment down there if you like to actually ask a question. You want to find out a little bit more. You want to get some more information. Is there another type of budgeting question that you have or financial question that you have? Leave a comment below and ask me. Let me know what's going on so I can give you some help. Sign up. The next class coming up, the next lesson coming up is First Things First. We are going to dive into the heart of the budgeting process, which is telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went. Absolutely huge. Hope you sign up for this process. Hope you sign up for this lesson. It will change your life. Have a blessed day. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye. Welcome to